defaults to this view, and know that you are in lesson mode. Now, lesson mode simply means you can use your computer as your computer and simply jump into Workspace whenever you need it. So, for instance, if I open up a PDF, let's say I'm going to do some reviewing with my English students. If I want to fill this out using my pen tool, I simply have to select my pen. You'll notice at the bottom, again, I'm in Workspace because it has taken a picture of what I'm doing. And now I'm able to go in and mark up and write on the page. And forgive me because I am using a mouse, not a pen. Now, the wonderful thing about this is it's taking a snapshot of this, but the minute I want to go back to my desktop or get out of Workspace, I can simply go back to my mouse mode. That means I can use the same PDF, the same document on my computer or website multiple times throughout the day, and it's just grabbing that information as I'm teaching. So that's a really great feature. You can also go into different parts. The next tool we're going to look at is your highlighter. Again, you will notice that the bar changes down here at the bottom, and I can simply go in here and highlight. I can change the color. I can also go in and write some ideas out here if I wanted the students to think about what the cause and effect of the particular piece is. Okay, so you can add to as much as you want. Now, the great thing is, let's say I'm doing a PDF, a star review like this in any subject, and I want to extend that learning. So I want to go outside of the PDF itself because they seem to be struggling. I can actually go over to our next one, which is our blank page. Remember, I created mine to be gray so it's not so bright and hard for the students to see. And then I can go in here, and if I wanted to, I could change it to my shape tool. I'm going to grab a box tool, and then I could draw a couple of boxes to establish maybe my own cause and effect, and go back to my pen tool so that I can have students start drawing their ideas out in writing. I can make things on a blank page. When I make something on a blank page, if I use my selection tool, that actually becomes a movable object. So everything in here becomes an object that I can then select and move, resize, change, or drag into my trash can if I don't like the way it looks or don't want to use it. Now let's say I messed up because this is kind of messy. The next tool I want you to be aware of is your orange X tool. That is your clear tool. That basically would clear my entire screen quickly. Now let's say I wanted to draw two more shapes, and then maybe I wanted to go over here and select a red fill shape to put in between, and then I wanted to get my pen tool and get some that have some arrows on them and go ahead and draw that. Okay, now if I don't like the arrow or something I just did on the page, I can simply use the undo tool, which is that backwards, and it just takes it off. Now let's say I was doing something and I was teaching and I wanted to use a graph. I would go down to my graphing paper, and then what I would recommend doing is, right now it's defaulted the pen to a release, excuse me, I'm defaulted to my arrow still. I need to get back to my pen. I can actually go over here and make this thicker so that all I have to do to plot something is actually just click in the middle. It makes it a little bit easier. So you can adjust all of those things when you're in here, and you know you're in here because the blue bar at the bottom tells you so. Alright, you also have an eraser tool, so I can simply use the eraser tool to erase. Again, reviewing back, the orange is their clear button. If my document camera was attached, I could click on this, select the document camera, and it would actually take a picture of what I'm doing. The arrows are actually to go backwards so that you can actually see the work that you've done. Now the great thing about this is it's going to keep a snapshot of everything you've done. So you can leave this up all day. Use it all day, and then you can come down to your page sorter, and that tool allows you to actually get rid of things that you don't like or reorder them. So I can simply select and delete. If I want to move these around, I just click and drag and drop them, and it reorders them for me. So then at the end of the day, I can actually save this work when I get out. I can go to File, and I can save as. It's going to save to that folder I originally set up. Or I can export it as a PDF if I need to post it online, send it to someone that's not in class. And let's say I'm done. I don't want to work on the grid paper. I don't want to work on my blank page. I simply just have to go back to my mouse. And I'm back to that PDF with no markups. I can now use anything on my desktop. So the next thing we're going to look at is PowerPoint, because I know a lot of you will have lessons already established in PowerPoint. Same thing with PowerPoint. You're going to put it in to display mode, go through the PowerPoint, but you have your toolbar over here. So Workspace allows you to click on a highlighter while I'm working on the PowerPoint, and then I can go in and simply highlight, and you might want to increase the size of that highlighter too, because it makes it a little easier to draw a straight line if it's thicker. And it's not affecting my actual PowerPoint. It's just working with it and taking a snapshot of it. It's adding another page. I want to go back to my PowerPoint to continue the lesson. I simply click on the mouse, and I can mouse through to my next slide. Very easy to use. The one thing I will tell you on your Workspace, a couple of notes, as we've looked at some of the tools, the Workspace toolbar will only work in duplicate mode, and typically when you turn on PowerPoint, it tends to put it in extend mode. So you just need to be aware that when it does that, you need to change it to a duplicate mode, and that way you can use everything the way you want to. Now, PowerPoint itself has tools at the bottom of the screen that are pens, highlighters, etc. You can use those, but just remember it's not taking a snapshot of it, it's actually using it in PowerPoint. And before we wrap up, I just wanted to show you one more thing. So I'm going to exit out of my PowerPoint. I'm going to pull up a live website. I'm going to go to the Pearland website. Now, if I'm on a website, you can see that it's live because I can click on it. The links are actually working. If I want to highlight something, I can simply click on the highlight tool and highlight anything on the page, right on the page, so that I can better instruct my students. I can actually tell them and pinpoint things they want to. Go back to the mouse mode, it becomes interactive. Now let's say I actually want to keep it interactive. I want to see what's happening. For instance, let's go to a YouTube video. If you're using a video, the last tool I want you to look at is if I'm on YouTube, I can actually go to the toolbox button, and I can select Annotate over Desktop. Now what that means is I have the ability to draw on the screen while the video still plays. Now the difference is when I'm out of this, you see it's still moving, so I still see something out of place. If I go back to mouse mode, it's going to ask if I want to keep a screenshot of when I drew that. So if I say yes, it's going to put that in to the rest of my pages. So let's just go back to the page sorter. So you can see at the very end here, I've got a, right there. If I double click on it, you'll see that it took a screenshot of where I marked something in the video. It's not actually going to play the video back, but it is a nice way to keep an interactive action website. If you're just trying to show students how to get somewhere or emphasize a point, you can use that Annotate over Desktop feature. Just know that to get back, you have to use your mouse button anytime you're in Workspace in order to get the full functionality. I think that about wraps it up. I've told you a lot of notes. Hopefully this is helpful. And again, if you have any questions or concerns, please contact your campus ETS for more information. When you're done for the day, you can simply click on the white X at the bottom to exit. It's going to ask you if you want to save changes to this particular sample, which is what you've already established and saved. You can hit yes or no depending on what you want to do with it. Have a great day.